everyone. So the biggest news in Finland at the moment, and I know I'm talking as an Irish person, but the biggest news at the moment is this court case that was restraining order, I suppose, was along with probably a court case coming up maybe, to do with a man. We don't know his name yet. We don't really know what he looks like. It's all blurred. So you'll see in a sec what I'm talking about. But as you know, I have huge respect for this woman. She's a huge inspiration to me, Sanna Marin, the former Finnish Prime Minister. Regardless, and again, this is the thing, I think we can all agree, regardless of your political beliefs, regardless of what you think of this woman, if you like her, if you don't, it's up to you, it's your own opinion. But I think we can all agree on this. I think everybody everywhere could agree with this, that it's not acceptable for a person to stalk a woman or to try and gain access to her house, particularly at Christmas with a young daughter in the house too. I think we can all agree. Nobody, I think anybody couldn't say that's acceptable. It's not acceptable for anybody, regardless of you, the former Prime Minister, regardless of who you are. But particularly in this case, it's Sanna Marin. But the thing about this case, particularly, and I think the majority of people online are talking about it, particularly because the person that was responsible for this, I wouldn't even call him a person, but he should be deported. He's not from Finland. He's not a Finnish citizen. As far as I can gather, he might be a Finnish citizen. He might not be. We don't know. But at the end of the day, that would solve the situation if he was sent home, because he doesn't seem to be Finnish. He doesn't seem to be from Finland. And he has a history of violence, threatening violence towards women, as we see. It was just this morning. I'm just literally home from work. I was following this story all day. So this is the only picture we have. So pretty much the Finnish public are not entitled to know who this man is. You can see the back of his head, but you don't know who he is. You can't see his face. And again, the Finnish media should be the more talk with Sanna Marin. Again, she's the victim. At the end of the day, this is the question about it. This is the main thing I put to people here at the moment. Should the victim, again, the victim is important, of course, but at the end of the day, the person who's responsible, the person who caused all this to happen, should be the main thing. And particularly because he's let out, he's pretty much only has a restraining order, he's not gone to prison, he's not been deported. He's allowed to walk the streets of Helsinki or Finland, and particularly he has a criminal record pretty much of doing the same thing. But he shouldn't be allowed just to be allowed to walk around pretty much, and for people to, let's put it this way, he's just allowed to go around, and only members of the public. He could do it to another woman. Who knows? Again, this is the thing. This is straight up just the facts. So we know he approached her several times over December, etc., etc. Thankfully, didn't do any harm. But again, he tried to get into her house, probably pushed into her house, etc., etc. But the person responsible does have a record in relation to this. But as you can see, all through December, etc., etc. So persistent stalking. So we look at another Finnish media that's talking about it. As we see, Christmas Day, he was arrested near the house Christmas Day, but he was not restrained. He was let out. So he was pretty much picked up and probably just let out again. It's insane. But you see this in the Finnish media. Like this man here, and anybody who commits a crime, regardless of what it is, you should have no anonymity. Simple as that. You're not allowed. You forfeit that right when you break the law. You simply don't have the right to anonymity, especially he has a criminal record. It's not his first time in trouble with the law. I'm just trying to find it here, but again, he shouldn't be blowed out, because you see Sanna Marin, I know she's the former Finnish Prime Minister, I know people say she's used to it, but at the end of the day, she's the victim here. She shouldn't be front and centre of everything. This fellow should be, and it should be saying to Finnish people that this fellow, you shouldn't be anywhere near him, or he shouldn't be allowed. He shouldn't be allowed there. But again, it's his third restraining order. As you see, the man has threatened to kill a woman and a child, among other things, in the past. A man receives restraining order and tried to order retain from a woman and child, and his ex-wife too. He's done it. So he has a history of this. So he has a prolonged history. It's not his first offence. It's not like he just randomly done it one day. So he has a long history of this. This is what we know. So who knows if he came from another country, from wherever he may be from. I don't know where he is from. But he's not a Finnish citizen, because he can barely speak Finnish, to be totally honest. And to be totally honest, again, this is probably what's happened, because he's not a Finnish citizen, because they're trying to protect him. And regardless, even if he was a Finnish citizen, there's no justification. He should be going to prison, or he should be sent away, to be totally honest, and probably never let out. But again, he threatened to kill a woman and child, and God knows what he threatened to Sanna Marin's child too, because the Sanna Marin's child was there at the same time on Christmas Eve. Again, as you know, enjoying their Christmas, etc., etc. And for this crowd to go and do this, it's despicable. And he doesn't seem to have any remorse or anything about it. So, and again, as I said, he has a history of it. It's different if he didn't have a history of it. If it was just randomly he lost the plot or whatever, you may say. But he really should be, if he's not a Finnish citizen. The main thing, instead of giving him a restraining order, deport him, send him home, send him to wherever he came from. I don't know where he came from, but wherever he came from, he should be sent back to wherever he came from. And the simple as that. Because if he's there in Finland and has broken the law, he has forfeited his right to stay in the country. Simple as that. And he's done it before. So he's forfeited his right to stay in Finland. He's forfeited his right. The Finnish people let him in. The Finnish society let him in. Give him a chance. We're giving them a chance, and he's broke that chance. And so subsequently, he's lost the trust of the Finnish people and Finnish society. So he should be sent home. Simple as that. Regardless if it was in Ireland, wherever, if you break the law and you're coming in looking for, if he is a Finnish citizen, we don't know that at the moment. But he should be sent home, and that's the only way to solve it. Send him home. Simple as that. And particularly, again, these are very serious things, threatening to kill a woman. This is before in 2023. But still, nonetheless, he's broken the law. And again, this is the thing, the Finnish media are protecting them. The Finnish media shouldn't give him any anonymity. Even if he's from Finland, I say the same thing. Even if he'd done this and he was a Finnish citizen, I would still say the same thing. Because at the end of the day, this is the person that caused all this. This wouldn't have happened only for he decided to do what he did. And at the end of the day, he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve the anonymity, because it's the difference. Like, when you really look at these photos, then you go up to the top and to see the video of Sanna Marin, take for example. Like, she's front and centre. You can see all the media here. I feel sorry for Sanna Marin, because you can see all the media literally flocking around her. And you see them there. This is a perfect example of the Western democracies. This is his face is blurred. All the media there are busy looking at Sanna Marin. It's not very fair. It isn't very fair, because Sanna Marin didn't want this, didn't ask for this. And this is what's happened. The Finnish media are more worried about this. They're not worried about the problem, because this is the problem. People like him. And then we go to this. This is a perfect example of everything. Him there with an interpreter, paid for by the Finnish taxpayer, of course. But he can't speak English. He can't speak probably Finnish or English. But yeah, he's a Finnish interpreter there, and Sanna Marin on her own. The victim. This is the victim. This is the plaintiff. To be totally honest, this is plain as daylight. That the favouring the defendant really in this case, because you see his face is blurred. Sanna Marin doesn't have that luxury, even though I know people say she's former Finnish Prime Minister, but she is the victim here. And this is raises the question: if this was another woman, not like, again, if Sanna Marin's an only citizen now, she's not the Prime Minister or a member of the Finnish Parliament. But this raises the question: if this was an only Finnish woman, would the same thing happen to her? That the perpetrator, if he was I don't know why they didn't appoint, because he's not a Finnish citizen, to protect this, or maybe just to protect him from being ostracised in the community, whatever the case may be. But he doesn't deserve it. Simple as that. He deserves to be ostracised. He deserves to be called out on the street, etc., etc. Simple as that. It's plain and simple. He's broken the law by his actions. Again, if he didn't do what he did, by his actions, it's his own fault. Simple as that. And he should be sent home, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. And I go to prison for it if that's the case. But that's my opinion, because I have a lot of respect for this woman. Regardless if it was an only Finnish woman, I say the same. That this man deserves no anonymity. None at all. He deserves his name being put out there. At most, he deserves his address too, because in Ireland we put out where they live, etc., etc., if they're convicted of a crime, or restraining order to from such and such and such and such, and they're working such and such and this, that, But obviously he's probably not working, etc., etc. We all know that, maybe. But I do feel sorry for Sanna. I really, really do. I listened. I was at an event for Sanna, listening to Sanna speak just a while ago, just a few days ago, last week, would you believe? And it's quite sad to see. She is a remarkable woman. I know I'm very biased. I would say the same if it was an only Finnish woman, or an Irish woman too. I would say the same, because at the end of the day, this is the victim. This is the perpetrator. And I do feel sorry for her, and particularly at Christmas and stuff with her young daughter and stuff like that. And to have to put up with somebody trying to force their way into your apartment, and God knows what intentions he had. And then just stalking her too. It's not right. It's not appropriate. It's not acceptable. Regardless if you're the former Finnish Prime Minister, regardless of who you are, regardless if you're the Pope, it doesn't matter. You're still broken the law. You're invading other people's spaces, and particularly, as I say, with their young daughter, with a young child, it's not acceptable. And especially, as I say, the criminal history before. If we just go back to this for a second, it's not like he just lost the plot one moment and decided to do it. As we see here, he has a history of this. So hopefully hopefully he will be deported. That's the main thing I want to see happen if he's not a Finnish citizen. But if he is a Finnish citizen, regardless of this, he's still committed the crime of trespassing and probably nearly attempted breaking. You would nearly go, and I nearly would go with the borderline treason, like nearly treason to be totally honest, being a former Finnish prime minister. I would nearly go with, if he is a Finnish citizen, he should have it revoked. If he is a Finnish citizen, he should be revoked as a threat to the state, because I nearly would deem this as a threat to the state, the Finnish state. God knows what his intentions were doing, but he obviously didn't have the best intentions trying to get into a parliament, etc., and did approach her on the street. Thankfully, didn't do anything then, but I wouldn't show this fellow any mercy. Pretty much what I'm trying to say, because again, it'd be different if they had his name and they had his picture there, to show him up, to shame him. Because I don't think he has any shame. I don't think he cares. But I have no mercy. The judges and the system in Finland, I know he has a temporary restraining order until next year. But if this was a good word, a proper word, he should be going to prison and never let out until his deportation order comes true. So either he'd be deported if he's not a Finnish. I don't think he is a Finnish citizen, but he should be deported. His residence and status should be abolished. And he should be sent home to wherever his home is. He's sent home and never to come back, because he's broken the trust of the Finnish society. And not even that, if he is a Finnish citizen, go to prison, suppose that for a few years, and think about his actions. But he's faced the very least, if that even them things didn't happen, the very least, his name and his face should be plastered all over the Finnish newspapers, because at the moment it's Sanna Marin's face that's over the Finnish newspapers, and it should be the perpetrator, because the perpetrator is the fellow who started all this. Sanna Marin didn't ask him to do this, and it's unfortunate, because I'm sure Sanna Marin didn't want to go through this at Christmas, and didn't want this attention from the media, and she shouldn't have to be there in the first place too, to go and ask for this restraining order. She shouldn't have to be. But I go on and on and on, but I think everybody can agree this picture tells you all you need to know. It just tells you everything. And regardless of what you think of this woman, if you think she's great, if you think she's not good, or whatever the case may be, I think we can all agree that nobody deserves to be stalked. Nobody deserves to have their personal house violated by somebody they don't know, and trying to push into their house and come into their house. Nobody should have that. I think we can all, everybody, regardless of who you are, I think we can all agree on that as human beings, as individuals, as people. Regardless if you're the former Finnish Prime Minister, regardless if you're the Pope, regardless of who you are, your house is your house is your kingdom, pretty much. That's an Irish saying, that your house is your palace, pretty much. That nobody can really touch it, and particularly in this way. So I hope something will be done, because at the moment it's not acceptable. It just gets off pretty much with a restraining order, and hopefully he sticks by it, and hopefully they do see to sentence the judges and send them home, because that's the only solution, to be told, instead of a restraining order. Thank you.